Everyone, myself Juveria Siddha. Today in this model I am going to discuss about the digestion and the absorption of nutritional constituents, in which I am going to discuss about the particular about lipids. So let us see what are the lipids and how they are going to be digested, and what are the process or the physiological processes for the absorption of the lipids in the cellular level. So our topic is about the digestion and the absorption of the lipids. So what are the dietary lipids? First of all, we have to know what are the dietary lipids. The lipids which we are taken by our food, those are come under into the dietary lipids. And what is the average adult intake? So if we take the average for the adult who are going to take this for the daily basis or per day, that is about the 60 to 150 grams per day. Means, see, a person has to be take the average amount of lipids. How much it needs? It needs about the 60 to 150 grams per day. So this is the value or the percentage that how much it needs the body. And then 90% of this is a triacylglycerides. So what are the, we know about the what are the fats or the lipids? These are nothing but the glycerides. So here the 90% of that is about the triacylglycerides, and remainder consists primarily of the free cholesterol, cholesterol esters, and the phospholipase and the free fatty acids. These are the remaining products here. And then what are the dietary sources of the lipids? If we talk about the sources, see here where from we get the lipids. This is come from the both sources, as the proteins are also we are getting from the two sources or the both sources. It may be like it is come from like a plant source, and it is also come from like a animal source. So what are the fats which are we are gaining from the animals? So what are the fats which are come from the animal source? So first one is about like a dietary products. It is like a milk, butter, and the ghee. We are gaining these products from the animal source, and this is the dairy products. Okay, milk contain products, and then meat, the flesh, as well as the fish and the eggs. These are the fats. In the egg also, whatever the yolk part is there, that is the pure form of the fats, whereas the whitish part or the liquid form of the egg is there, that part is contains the proteins. Okay, and then vegetable source. If we talk about the vegetable source, that is from the cooking oils, that is maybe like sunflower oil, mustard oil, etc. These are all come under into the vegetable source, and which we are gaining from the sunflowers, like the plant source. And mustard seeds, as we know, that is the mustard seeds is also a source for the in the North Indians, they are more use, they take the more use of that mustard oil. And then fats from the other vegetable sources. So this is like a sources, means what are the sources where from we are getting the lipids? It is the two sources. One is like a animal source, another one is like a plant source. Okay, and then we have the physiological importance of the lipases. See, what are the lipases? Let me tell you. These lipases are the enzymes like proteases for the protein breakdown. Here the lipases are the enzymes which are useful for the breakdown of the lipid substances. So what is the function of this? Just see here. Lingual lipase, it is related to the oral cavity or the tongue, the saliva. So it is come as it is secreted from the lingual glands, which are present at the submaxillary region of the tongue. So lingual means it is related to the tongue, the glands which are present at the associate with the tongue. So what the substrate here means, what some components has to be digest. See, these are the dietary triacylglycerides. It is breakdown and forms the products like what are the products here? These are like a diglyceryl plus fatty free form of fatty acids. Diglycerides are formed and free fatty acids are formed. Like the proteins, here also if you see that the long chain or the complex form of the fatty acids is break down into the diglycerides and the remaining free fatty acids are present. And then gastric lipases, these are secreted from the stomach, which are present into the stomach. Those are the gastric lipases. Here the source for this is the stomach is the source for the gastric lipases. And again, what are the substrate has to be break? These are the triacylglycerides, are nothing but the fats which we are taking from our diet, and it is break down and form the products like the diglycerides and the to free form of free fatty acids. And pancreatic lipase is another enzyme which is secreted from the pancreas. Here it is a source for the pancreas, and it is also it breaks or digests that triglycerides as well as the diacylglyceride. As a result, this di means two components, other two component substrate is going to be break and form the two monoglycerides and then hepatic lipase, which is secreted from the hepatocytes. It is related to the liver. And then it is also secretes or it breaks the substrate like a triacylglycerides of the ideal means and the low density lipids and the high density lipids, and these are the substrate which are again going to be breakdown in the form of like a glycerol, and the free fatty acids are formed. So this is the what are the glands and what are the enzymes and which enzymes are going to break the substrate, and as a result what products are formed. Lingual lipase, which is secreted from the lingual glands and it digests the dietary triacylglycerides and forms the diglycerides and the fatty acids. And then gastric lipases, gastric in the sense it is related to the stomach. So this is the secreted from the stomach. As a result, it converts or it breaks the triacylglycerides and into the triacylglycerides is converted into the diacylglycerides, and as a result free fatty acids are also formed. And then pancreatic lipase, these are like a secretion from the pancreas, and it also break the diacylglycerides, the triacylglycerides into the monoglycerides. Mono means single forms. And then hepatic lipases, hepatic is related to the hepatocytes, which are the cells related to the liver. So this is the substrate which are again converted into the glycerol plus the fatty acids. And acid lipases, this is like a most tissues. This acid lipases is secreted from the tissues, and again it is converted into the triacylglycerides of the lipases in the phagocytes, and as an end product glycerol plus fatty acids are formed. And HSL, again this is come as the adipocytes, means fat storage cells. Again it is converted into triacylglycerides which is stored in the adipose cells. Whatever the fat is there which is accumulate into the tissue, those fat storage cells are called as the adipose tissues. These adipose tissues or the adipose cells are nothing but the fat storage cells, where the fat is accumulate or the store in the below the epithelium, below the skin. Those cells are called as the adipocytes cells. And the breakdown of the triacylglycerides in the form of glycerol plus free fatty acids. And then the another one is like a LPL, where the extra hepatic tissues, this is come from the hepatic, means related to the whatever the cells outside the liver, those are called as the extra hepatic tissues. And here also these triacylglycerides and very low density lipids are again converted into the glycerol plus the free fatty fatty acid. And then the another one which is again very much important, like cholesterol esterase. Esterase in the sense this is also the enzyme which is secreted from the pancreas, and it convert the substrate like the cholesterol ester into the cholesterol plus free fatty acid. So it breaks the cholesterol ester into the cholesterol plus fatty acids. And then phospholipase A2. This phospholipase A2 is also secreted from the pancreas, and it also forms the phospholipase substrate into the lysophospholipase plus the phospholipids plus the fatty acids. And then enzymes, we discuss about the enzymes, what are the different enzymes, how they are work, that is the okay. So different enzymes are there, this is a list, I just want to give the review again. So lingual lipase, gastric lipase, pancreatic lipase, and then hepatic lipase, and then acid lipase, HSL, and the LPL, and the cholesterol esterase, and the phospholipase A2. These are the some of the list of enzymes which show the action on the dietary fats. Whatever the dietary fats which we are taking, that dietary fats has to be digest, has to be break down and form into the glycerol plus the fatty acid. This is the enzymes, how they action, how they work, just let us see now. So in the gastrointestinal tract, how and in which part of the gastrointestinal tract the digestion of the lipids will be take place. And once if we start with the gastrointestinal with the mouth, so is the digestion is take place in the mouth or not? Let us see here. So there is no digestion of fats occur here. So see, this is the first point, there is a no digestion. But if we talk about the carbohydrates, they are digested in the mouth by the presence of salivary amylase. But the fats are not digested into the mouth, and proteins are all not digested into the mouth. Only the carbohydrates are the substances, the sugars are the substances which are digested in the mouth or the buccal cavity, and due to the presence of salivary amylase. But the fats are not digested into the mouth. Lingual lipase cannot start lipid digestion in the mouth due to the shorter stay of food in the mouth and difference in the optimum pH for the enzyme function. So pH of saliva, you can see here what is the pH. 7.0 means it may be like a neutral, but its optimum pH is like a 4.0 to 4.5. Due to the pH changes, the lingual lipase cannot show its action into the buccal cavity. And then the digestion into the stomach. Here the lipid digestion begin in the stomach by the acid stable lingual lipase, as the gastric lipase is active only at the near neutral pH, which is true only in the neonates, in the infants. Neonates and the infants are the young ones, are the babies, and it is of little use in the adult. So gastric lipase is active only at the neutral pH, means it is somewhat active in the babies or the young ones, or the newborn babies, which are called as like a neonates. And see here the function of lingual lipase. It is secreted by the dorsal surface of the tongue. Okay, it is related to the tongue, and the active pH is a low, and optimum pH is about the 4.0 to 4.5. So it is stay between the pH of 4.0 or the 4 to 4.5 pH. Ideal substrate, here the substrate which is going to be break with the action of lingual lipase, that is the triacyl glycerides with the short chain and fatty acids like the milk fats. The milk fats are digested or break down by the use of this lingual lipase. The rate of the digestion is slow because fat is not yet emulsified. Short chain fatty acids are released as end product of digestion, which are absorbed directly from the stomach wall and enters into the portal vein. So after the breakdown, after the digestion of the substrate, it has to be enter into the bloodstream or the portal vein system. So what is the lingual lipase? If we talk about the lingual lipase, it is present or it is secreted from the dorsal surface of the tongue, and here the active pH is about the low, whereas the optimum pH, if we talk about the optimum pH, it is approximate start from the 4 to 4.5, and then the substrate which are again going to break down with the help of these, that is the triacyl glycerides. And what is the function of these gastric lipases? It is secreted in the small quantity, effective in the alkaline pH. Alkaline means above the 7, so 7.8. Less effective in the stomach due to the acidic pH. It does not show its action in the stomach. Why? Because due to the presence of hydrochloric acid, HCl, which is present in the stomach. When the intestinal contents are regular, that is the regurgitated or the regurgitated in into gastric lumen. Substrate, here which substrate is going to be break? Triacyl glyceride with short chains fatty acid. Again the milk fat is going to be break. In spite of limitations, lingual lipase and the gastric lipase account for about 30% of total fat digestion, and it plays the important role in the lipid digestion in the neonates, as milk is in the main source of their energy. So these lipases are especially important for fat digestion in the patients with the pancreatic insufficiency. Example, cystic fibrosis, where in the patients who are suffering from the cystic fibrosis, these lingual lipases are show their action with the near or the complete absence of pancreatic lipase. Due to that, the persons who are suffering from the cystic fibrosis, in those the absence of pancreatic lipase means the pancreas is not showing that function to secrete the pancreas. As a result, the total lack, or you can say the absence of the pancreatic lipase secretion. As a result, these lingual lipases are show their action. And digestion in small intestine, this is the third part, where the major site of the fat digestion. Here in the intestine, the fat is going to be digest. Effective digestion is due to the presence of bile salt. These bile salts are coming from the gallbladder via the emulsification and the pancreatic lipase. These bile salts are act as effective emulsifying agents for the fat. And emulsification of the lipids in the duodenum. This is the part of the intestine, small intestine, in which part and how the digestion will be take place. The breaking up of the fat globules into much smaller emulsion droplets. So see here, the fats are going to be break into the smaller droplets, and those droplets are called as like a emulsion droplets. This process increase the surface area of fat or the oil surfaces, so the digestive enzymes can act effectively. And here for the two mechanisms are there: reduction of surface tension of the fat droplets by the detergents, action of bile salts and lecithin. Mechanical mixing by the gut peristalsis. As we know, the peristaltic movement of the gut means the slow movement of the muscles of the gut. That movement is called as the peristalsis movement, which is used to move forward the food into the intestine. That process is called as the peristalsis. And by this diagram you can see this is a large fat globule, and it has to be with the action of this bile salt, and these bile salts are attached on the outer surface of the fat globules, and it breaks that large fat globules into the smaller fat molecules, and then it is called as the emulsified droplets. So see here, if we break the large substrate of the large molecule of the fat, large drop of the fat, it has to break. The emulsification process is nothing but the breakdown of the fat molecules into the smaller fat molecules, and it is happens with the help of these bile salts. Bile salts are attached to these fat molecules, and it breaks into the smaller emulsion droplets. And see here again, this is a fat globule, a large fat globule, and due to this polar charged region of this bile salt, these bile salts are attached to there, and as a result the fat droplets coated with bile salts are suspended into the water. So the breakdown of the water will be breakdown of the fat globules into the water will be take place as a result of the emulsification process will be done. So breakdown of the fat molecules is called as the emulsification process. And then action of pancreatic lipase, the another enzyme which is called as the pancreatic lipase. Here, see here, the secretion of the pancreatic juice is stimulated by it is where from it is coming. This is coming from the pancreatic juice is secreted from the pancreas. Okay, then passage of acidic gastric content into the duodenum by the secretion of secretin and the cholecystokinin. So these are also the another enzymes are the secretin and the hormones. You can call it as like a gastric hormones, which are related to the gastric hormone, which are useful for the secretion and the breakdown of the fat molecules. It may be like the secretin and the cholecystokinin. And see here, the pancreatic lipases with the help of the cholipase digest the triacylglycerides further. This cholipase is again the enzyme. It removes the fatty acids from the C1 carbon and C3 carbon of glycerol and produce the 2-monoacyl glyceraldehyde are the glycerides and 2 fatty acids, which is the major end product of triacyl glyceraldehyde. So this triglycerides means here see 3 chains are there. Triglycerides are combined with the action of this pancreatic lipase. It forms the monoglycerides and free fatty acids. You can easily understand by this picture where the 3 chains are combined to form the triglycerides. These triglycerides are break down into and separate as a monoglycerides and free fatty acids. And see here, what are the end products which are formed after the process of digestion of these triacyl glycerides are the triglycerides. The primary end products are 2-monoacyl glycerides and glycerol. 2-monoacyl glycerides represent the 70% of total end products. Here, these monoglycerides forms how many percent here? 70%. The total percent of that is the 70% of total end products which are formed in the form of like a 2 monoacyl glycerides, and fatty acids and the glycerol together represent the remaining 30% of total end product. And what are the bile salts are required for the proper functioning of pancreatic lipase enzyme? So see here, this is the triglyceride particle. This is the triglyceride particles, and this is like a cholipase, lipase, which are again combined to show its activity. So see here, what is the importance of that? The bile salts are important or the required for the proper functioning of pancreatic lipase. What are the bile salts? Help in the combination of, it helps in the combination of lipase with the 2 molecules of small proteins called as the cholipase. These 2 molecules you can see in this picture. the dark color, these two molecule, here one, these two are combined. These are called as like a colipase, and this combination enhance the lipase activity. Okay, so this is the lipase. This lipase is attached with the triglyceride. This is the dietary fatty acids, and it shows its activity more when it is attached with the two molecules of colipase. Here this is the two molecules of colipase. When it is attached to the lipase, it shows activity, it enhances its activity. It enhances its activity by showing the function of that by the attachment of this colipase enzyme. And isomerase shift the ester bonds from position 2 to 1. In other words, the isomerization of some of the two monoacyl glycerides occurs to the produce one monoacyl glyceride. The one monoacyl glyceride is then hydrolyzed to the glycerol and the free fatty acids. It shows the action of pancreatic lipase. So see here, this is the large droplet, large lipid droplet mixing with the bile salt. This is the micellus, and when it is mixing with the micellus, or it forms the smaller droplets from the large molecules or the large droplet of the fat. As the action of pancreatic lipase, it enters into the border or the lining of the cells or the intestinal lining. This is like a mucosal cell, and when these fatty acids are entering or passes into the intestinal lumen or the border of the intestine in the form of monoglyceride, means the single molecule, the single chain of the fatty acids are formed. In that condition, it will be enter into the lumen. And 10 to 15% of the total dietary cholesterol is in the ester form, which is digested by the pancreatic cholesterol. So see here which form is there. 10 to 15% is in the form of like a ester form of the fats, and that is digested by pancreatic cholesterol. It is the pancreatic cholesterol esterase, pancreatic cholesterol ester. For the digestion of ester, esterase enzyme is there to form the free cholesterol plus the fatty acid. These are the end products. What are the end products? Cholesterol and the fatty acids. And bile salts enhance the activity of cholesterol esterase. What the function of these bile salts? Why it is important? It enhances, it increases the activity of the enzyme. Which enzyme? That is the cholesterol esterase. And then what are the end products of lipid digestion here? This is like a fatty acids, glycerol, two monoacyl glycerides, cholesterol, lysophospholipid. All these are of the amphipathic in nature, having the hydrophilic and the hydrophobic group. Amphipathic in the sense both. It shows the both the characters, means it contains the hydrophilic in nature, loving to the water or move towards the water or mix with the water, and the another group like a hydrophobic, or it is the away from the water. So these are the, this function is called as the amphipathic in nature. So this is the list of the some of the end products which are formed in the result of the lipid digestion. Fatty acids, glycerol, this is the fatty acid, glycerol, monoacyl glycerides, cholesterol, lysophospholipids. So these are the enzymes are present. And after the digestion and formation of the end products, here how they are going to be absorbed. If they are absorbed, then only it will be goes to the cellular level, and this will be carried out with the help of blood. It is mixed with the bloodstream, and through the blood it is enter into the each and every cell of the body. So that process of the absorption of the substances or the nutrients is called the absorption. So short and medium chain fatty acids, this is the less than the 14 carbon here, and glycerol are directly absorbed from the intestinal lumen. So intestinal lumen, what are the substrate which are absorbed? That is the short chain fatty acids, and in the portal vein system they take from the liver for further utilization. The long chain fatty acid, it is in the form of like cholesterol and the monoglyceride, monoacyl glyceride and the lysophospholipid. These are together interact with the bile salts and form the mycelia. And this is the mycelia, nothing but the small droplets of the fats. And see here how the mycelia formation is take place. Disc shape, this is like a cluster shape or like a disc shape. See here how the mycelia form here. The hydrophobic polar head, this blue color are the head, like a stick, like a spokely stick, and then hydrophobic non-polar hydrocarbon chain, and one is the head is there, another part is like a chain or the tail part is there. All are combined, all are attached with the non-polar end and form a mycelia like structure. So see here the disc shaped clusters of the amphipathic lipids that cholesterase with these hydrophobic group on the inside and their hydrophilic groups on their outside of the cluster. So this outside is the hydrophilic heads are present, inner side is the hydrophobic tails or hydrophobic chains are present. And then this mixed mycelias are the soluble in the aqueous environment of the intestinal lumen, and the mycelia approach to the brush border of the membrane of the enterocytes. These mycelia are continuous, these are the continuous breakdown and reforms. It is the monoglycerides and the fatty acids that are free in the solution are absorbed by diffusion. Mycelia free them to the intestinal mucosa. So see here it enters into the intestinal membrane or intestinal mucosa. And events inside the enterocytes. Enterocytes are the intestinal cells. These fatty acids and the monoglycerides are converted back into triglycerides, and these triglycerides aggregates with the cholesterol and proteins and the phospholipids to form the chylomicrons. These are the chylomicrons, smaller particles of the lipids, and these chylomicrons move in the lymph capillary which transport them to the rest of the body. So see here how the chylomicrons are formed. This is the this is the enterocyte, a cell, or you can say the intestinal layer or the mucosa cell. This is a cell where this fatty acid, these are the fatty acids, are entering into the cell, and then it is in the form of like fatty acids and it is in the form of like a monoglycerides, and it enters into the endoplasmic reticulum which are the carriers and which receive the substances are transport into the cell as it is in the form of like triglycerides and formation of the chylomicrons. It is separated from here intestinal it is separated from the endoplasmic reticulum and form as this these smaller chylomicrons. These are the chylomicrons or exocytosis of chylomicrons. This is the smaller particles are formed, and it will send outside the cell and enter into the lymphatic vessels. Absorption at a glance. If you see there, you can easily understand that. First of all, these are the fats and this is the intestine. This is the intestine. We are taking a cell of intestine, intestinal epithelium cell. Mycelia contain epithelial plasma membrane. First of all, this is the fat molecules. These are the attached. These fat molecules are bile salts, attached to the bile salts, and this is the fatty acid, yellow color fatty acids. This is first attached with the mucous cell or the intestinal epithelium cell, and it is in the form of like triglycerides. By the process of that chylomicrons are formed, it is covered with the protein layer. proteins, it is covered with the proteins, and it will be enters into the capillary or the blood system, and from there again it is enter into the lacteal cell or the lymphatic or the lymphatic system. So this is the total process, total physiological processes, how the fats are going to be break, and then after the break it forms in the free fatty acids and glycerol, and these free fatty acids and the glycerols are enter into the intestinal cells. How they enter, and as a result of that, that will be entered into that intestinal cell, and that will be passed into the bloodstream. From the blood it will be passed into the different parts of the body. So this is a very much important how the end products are there. These end products, so see here, these are the fatty acids, these are like end products of the fats. After the breakdown of the fats, it forms as a fatty acids and the monoglycerides, and it is in the form of fatty acid and in the form of monoglyceride. It enters into the cell, and in the cell, which is the transport mechanism due to the endoplasmic reticulum, it forms a vesicles are formed, and those vesicles contain the fat. Those are called as the chylomicrons, and these chylomicrons are coated with that proteins, and which are the transporter proteins, and it will be passed, it will be sent that chylomicrons to the outside of the cells and enter into the the lymphatic vessels, where from it enters into the bloodstream or the capillary system. So in this module I discussed about what are the fats and how the fats are going to be break down, the digestion of the fats in which part of the body, in the which part of the gastrointestinal tract the fats are going to be digest. So after the digestion, how the fats are going to be absorbed in the different parts of the cells with the help of formation of emulsion droplets, and how these are going to be absorbed. So summary, just look at the summary what we discuss in this module. We discuss about the what are the dietary lipids. Our major dietary lipids is about the 60 to 150 grams per day. We need individual needs. How much individual needs? 60 to 150 grams per day. And here the 90% is the triacylglycerides, which is the major quantity of that fats, and remaining are in the form of like free cholesterols and the cholesterol esters, and these are the phospholipids, and the free fatty acids are there. And then what are the sources here? Again the sources, animal sources and the vegetable sources are there. We can get the fats from the animals, and we also get the fats from the vegetable sources like the cooking oil, vegetable plants oil, and the sunflower oil, mustard oil is there. And what are the different types of the enzymes we show their action into the digestion of the fats. So these are like lingual lipases, gastric lipases, pancreatic lipases, hepatic lipases, acid lipases, and then high soluble lipids are the HSL, and the low phospholipids are the LPL, and the cholesterol esterase and the phospholipases are there. And we discuss about that which part of the gastrointestinal tract according to the portion. So coming to the mouth, there is a no digestion of the fats, and then coming to the stomach, due to the presence of here also not that much of digestion will take place. The digestion of the fats is only take place into the intestine. Why it is not take place in the stomach? Why? Because due to the high acid nature, the presence of hydrochloric acid. And what are the different enzymes which show the action? Like a lingual lipase, which is come from the tongue and then secreted from the tongue, and then gastric lipases, these are secreted from the stomach, and then digestion into the small intestine, which is a very much important part of the digestion, where the emulsification of the fat molecules, or it is combined with the water, or it is combined with the due to the hydrolysis action of that, formation of the emulsion droplets are there, and from there the bile salts are also come and attached to this fat. As a result, smaller emulsion droplets are formed. And see here the emulsification of the lipids in the duodenum, which is the part of the intestine again. And how the fats are there, this is the large molecule of fat again. It is by the action of bile salts. These bile salts are combined or attached to the outer surface of the fat, and it forms the smaller fat or emulsion droplets. And then action of pancreatic lipase, this is another enzyme. And see here, this is the triglyceride, the fatty acids. It is break down into the monoglyceride and the free fatty acids. And what are the end products here? That is in the form of like monoacyl glycerol, and the remaining are the free fatty acids, and the glycerols are formed as a end product. And the bile salts, these are the bile salts which are combined to the bile salts are attached with this colipase, which shows its activity more. It enhances the bile salts activity to digest the triglycerides. And this is how it is break down into the large droplets. It is mixed with the bile salt, form the myceli. This is enters into the enterocytes or the intestinal cells. Okay, lastly it is end products of lipidization here, free fatty acids, glycerols, monoacyl glycerols, and cholesterol, lysophospholipids are there. It is in the form of end products. And lastly it has that absorption. After the digestion, the next process is absorption. Whatever the end products which are formed, those are as absorbed into the mucus layer or the mucous membrane of the intestine. And the absorption, it is carried out by the formation of the myceli, and this myceli contains the hydrophobic and the hydrophilic nature. It shows the amphipathic in nature. And see here, this is how it will be enter into the cell, and by the formation of chylomicrons it will be passed into the cell and to the bloodstream. Okay, by this we are end up with the topic.